Remains. Don't go, okay, go on. So for those of you at home, if you can hear me, I believe you can hear me. The chat is visible to me, but not to the room. And just so you know, who can see it, and let me, I'm gonna make, Jill, I'm gonna make you oh, you're not on Zoom, are you, Jill?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you are. I'm gonna make you co-host. Okay. And then, what does the, okay, you, oh yeah, there's the, okay, I'm gonna change the name of this.
You want to close the doors?
Go ahead. Yeah, if it's unlocked now.
Yeah.
Good, I have been recording the meeting, I can turn the reminder off my phone. And we'll leave the rest of that for later. We're still working on attendance here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We need 17. We need 17. We have 15.
In person or 17 in person? 17 in person?
17 in person, right? That has been our quorum. I did not recount. Who else?
That's not a seat. I'm sorry, Evelyn is not holding the seat here.
Evelyn is not a
I mean,
Spanish.
she gets to my committee report. No, no, she doesn't. have to. 17. No, we have 15.
We have 15. We're short 2 more. Sorry to keep you all at home waiting. Well, we try to get 2 more people. All right, I'm gonna name people and see if you know of any. Lila is no help. You're absolutely welcome. But we are not yet at quorum. So come on in. Or go. And you could come back later, because we're not even, yeah, we have some other things to do before reports. 3.
Well, I do have other things, but,
Who has other things to do?
maybe I'll come back in a, I'll come back in a bit.
Claudette, you're not on campus, are you? Oh, yeah, I saw that. I assume Tara's not on campus. Anybody know where Karam is, if she could come in? We still have.
How many people?
Lucy should be in the department. She
Yeah, I
should be
saw her
down
downstairs
so early.
there.
Lucy, oh yeah, does she still know she's a senator for one more meeting? Can you?
I go downstairs, but I don't have the phone number.
Uncle Chuck. Anthony, can you call the math office?
You call the department, yeah.
Wait a minute, you need to join.
Oh, okay.
Who's my number? Oh,
Wait, she's on.
hey Lucy, no, she's not connected to audio.
Somebody downstairs, they just started from upstairs.
Yeah, it's not far. Whatever. That would be 1, but more than that. Rochelle, Rochelle, you're at home.
Yeah, sorry. I'm reaching out to John.
Reach out to John, that'd be great. Oh, yeah, because, Claudette, who's your alternate? Marta.
Marta.
Jairus is here? You are a
Oh, you're an
voting.
alternate, so yeah, I mean.
No,
You're
and
voting when you're.
sorry, everyone, but no, you're not the only one, we need 2. We need one more. Lucy, Lucy Mingla, can you hear us? I see you're muted if you're trying to say something. We're trying to get to quorum. She's not answering.
Not
Jamie is here for Sue. Suma, Jamie, thank you for being here. Sumant is here, so he's counted.
Yeah, I have another meeting, I'll briefly go out, so Jamie will vote for it when I'm not.
We won't tell,
We need you to start.
but
Christy, did you count Marissa and Erica?
oh, I probably did.
Yeah, just, yeah, that's one less. That's not helping.
No, it's not.
I have 13 here.
Does, anyone know where Amy, Calendria is? She's a senator. Teresa is a senator, or Siraj. This one. Yeah. Haram is a senator. I don't even know. Jean.
See if she is upstairs.
What about me?
Unless it's online, sure, it's here.
I have 15. How many do you have?
I had 15 before, but I counted Erica and Marissa both. Anthony, see if you can call the math department and see if Lucy can come up.
Well, we're trying to message her since she's on,
Oh, yeah,
just to, that'll be actually quicker than.
it would be, but I've already tried to speak to her and she hasn't answered it.
Oh.
Lucy, can you come up to the room? E500, because we don't have quorum. We can't have our meeting, but if you were here in the room, we could have our meeting. No, we can't. We need a couple more.
She said no?
Oh, she hasn't answered yet. She did say, I am here, but.
Listen, I was considering whether to call in.
Oh, look,
It's wrong.
Karam is here. Thank you, Karam. All right, you got Sabine still. Maria's here, but that doesn't help because she's Sabine's alternate. We,
Checking to see if she's in her office, and if she is.
Lucy will come at 3:15. Oh, yeah, I knew that was. Lucy, 3:15 doesn't help us. But thank you for your willingness.
All right, we're checking to see if she's in the office.
So do you need one more person?
Ask Jill. I miscounted
Oh,
before.
she said, I'm sorry, what did she say? 1, 2, yes. I see her saying, I'm sorry.
15.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
She's a +1. 1, 2, 3. 10, 16. You have 70?
Yeah, did you count something with that?
I have Erica,
Yes, ma'am.
Anthony, Douglas, Sharon.
Yep.
Jeannie. Karam, Cindy, Loretta, Denise, Christy, Dumont, Diane, Sandra, Margaret, Sabine, and Jill.
So I have just counted the Senate roster again. And if the parliamentarians in the room don't, and the legal counsel doesn't completely listen, since we are down to one student who is online, let me count one more time. I think I came up with 30, and half of that would be 15.
That's half plus 1. Oh.
16, but are we at 16? Are we at 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, no, I think you said 16.
Jill, you see them?
Yeah. About here, you looking for me?
obvious one that you don't
Yeah,
count
I
yourself,
know.
you don't count yourself, you know.
29, counting one student. 29 total on the roster. So that would mean half would be 15.
Yep.
Okay,
Don't ask the color in practice.
what?
Don't ask.
I'm not asking. I'm just saying, okay,
Do not ask the color in your book.
close enough. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And that's not a message for me now. Right? Good?
Oh, you recording?
It's recording. I have a big reminder. So posterity is seeing our finagling with the quorum. Not finagling, it's a
Yeah, you
reduced,
should
it's a, yeah. All right, calling the meeting to order at whatever time it is. And first I need an approval of the agenda. Yeah. Approval of the agenda, I don't remember if we need a motion. We don't. Yes, who wants to move? Did Leslie say no?
She said yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Leslie. A motion to approve the agenda? Cindy, a second?
Second.
Margaret. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What a crazy day.
Yeah.
Approval of the minutes from June 7th. Is that the one we don't need a motion for?
Yeah.
Isn't that, why is that?
We haven't been following that format, so
We're-
every time I look at my notes, we're approving certain,
Yeah,
we're seconding some, not others, so we have to be a little bit better with remembering which one, just because the minutes are all over the place.
Yeah, the
okay.
minutes don't require a motion because if anyone is going to vote against, you can't just vote against the minutes. You have to have a reason for change. So that's why it's not, it's part of it's a part of a consent agenda, so.
So we need a motion for the agenda, but not for the minutes.
Yes, because you could actually have any member of the body request a change. So they might not approve the way that the agenda is created, or they might want to add something.
Got it. Okay. So, the minutes are approved. I heard no changes, the minutes are approved. We have invited, Vice President Shahir Irfan to present on facilities and capital projects.
Way up.
Is he on his way up? I was gonna
Just
say,
sent me, just sent a message, yeah.
great, okay. So, and then let's move ahead past that item. We have a presentation of the governance plan Article 8 revision by the Personnel and Budget Article Committee. And you all received a copy of it. Patricia and Marissa are both here representing the committee. Do you want to say anything about what you're presenting? Yeah, hello, you're both on mute. If you want to say anything, we won't hear you. Do you want to say anything? Or do you just want to see if there are any questions?
Yeah, we just one thing, and then Marisa can take over. Hello, everyone. There were a couple of other things that the committee had been asked to review that were denied, and that one thing was the academic review committee was shut down by most faculty and departments, so we didn't get that at all in that article. So we just stuck to reviewing the article for the departmental and divisional P&B. We still kept the name and the college-wide P&B. Marissa, go ahead, because you did a lot of work with me on that, with us.
Hi, Christy. Do you want me to present this now to the Senate for the vote, or are you just reviewing the agenda right now?
We first want to just see if there's any questions or comment or and you don't need, everyone hopefully should have read the document that was sent. So you should know what's there. Maybe, I mean, the major changes are what? Can you just give me a sense of what the changes are? The potential for an increased size of the P&B and who can be on the P&B was a change.
Correct. There's the potential for an increased size to the P&B. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to pull up the document so I can look at it. right, the increased size to the PNB, the change to who can sit on the PNB, or not, it's not a change as much as it's clarification. And then also, sorry, I'm just scrolling through here. There were questions about the college-wide PNB and who's sitting on that. And again, we just clarified language in there.
So for the increase of the PNB, you can see that for 4, it's still 5 members, but we went to 3 faculty members to allow for 2 other seats, not just 1 more seat of somebody else, but 2 more seats. So as long as there are 3 faculty members tenured on the committee, and faculty meaning professorial rank, then 2 other people can be members of the committee. The big change, which was voted by a majority of the department, is that HEOs can vote for PNB members, but cannot serve on PNB members. And the argument was that HEOs don't go through the reappointment process that faculty go through. And since PNBs don't really do budget, then all of us thought, I mean, at least some of us thought that this would be the best course for now. Evelyn Berg from the union has requested one change, which we can make. It's no big deal. We went for simplification and used just the provost title as the seat on the college-wide PNB. But Evelyn said that there might be a time where we don't have a provost, so we should keep the VP of AA, even if we say, it's a combined title, but she said, who knows? So that in case we go back to just having a VP of academic affairs, then at least their name is mentioned. The committee, just to remind everybody that the committee had everyone on it. I mean, Maria Cook had a look on it, Evelyn Burke had a look on it, so the union was there, legal was there, departments were there, and then chairs were there. So I think we rehashed the thing enough. We'll leave it to other people who redo the governance plan in the next 10 years.
Sounds good. Are there other questions or comments? Yes, Karam?
Actually, in the language, maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Hold on, are you at home able to hear Karam? Yeah, good, okay.
So actually, on the first page of, first page, last paragraph, it states that at least 5 individuals, department chairperson and 2 tenured faculty member needs to be in the meeting, right, in the PNB committee. But on the last paragraph of page 3, second last, before the rationale, it says the majority of the PNB members must always be tenured faculty. I feel like little, discrepancy in the language. Yeah, maybe need to.
Does the question make sense to you, Patricia and Marissa?
Okay, let me just pull up the document. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't pull up the document, but
Like me to share my screen? Would that make it
yeah,
easier?
if Marisa has it, thank you, Marisa.
Are you able to see my screen? I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, so, yeah, thank you.
So it was, what was the first paragraph?
The page 1, last paragraph, divides section 2A, all the way down.
This one.
Yeah, this one is conflicting with the second last paragraph of page 3 before rationale.
And this one.
Yeah.
Should vacancy occur? And the concern is that there's a difference in how those are worded.
I'm not sure I understand what's the
Say your question again?
you're highlighting the vacancy. I'm not sure
The majority of the PNB members must always be tenured faculty. It sounded like
it's the same. Well, 3 out of 5 will be the majority.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you mean more than half?
Yeah.
right? Oh,
More than half.
more than half.
The majority.
Oh, Yep.
Right? So three members, three faculty will be the majority of PNB. If the PNB is at 5, what we were trying to do is not to be too specific, but if PNBs decide to include more members, that the majority of the PNB should remain faculty members.
Does that help, Karam?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
I understood, yeah,
Great.
because
Thank you, Karam.
yeah, no problem. Actually, before I understood that like majority of the PNB member, meaning that if there are 5 members, then five have to have like a tenure.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it.
that's what.
Okay.
Good.
Good
Yeah.
clarification. Are
And
there
so
questions?
just one more thing, Christy, the flexibility for the departments is that they don't have to do it. If a department has over 60 members and doesn't want to increase their PNB, they don't have to do it. It's just a choice. It was brought up by the idea that some feel that there's too much work on PNB when you have a big department, and also that there are different disciplines and different areas that maybe 5 people can't cover. So that's why.
Makes sense. Sounds good. Okay. Are there other questions or comments?
Yeah.
Yes, Shimon?
If they increase the size, if the departments are larger and they increase the size, will the same proportion be applied to increase this?
The same proportion of faculty versus non-faculty?
Majority has to be faculty. That's what it says, that like regardless, the majority of the PNB should be faculty. That even if you go from 5 to 7, you still need at least 4 faculty members. You can't just do the majority has to be faculty members, because the way it is now, what PNB does is really tenure promotion forum. So it should be really the purview of the faculty.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
So why did they change from 4 to 3? Why did they break down?
We went from 4 to 3 to allow different representation and more representation. So for example, if you're in a department that has, a lot of lecturers, a lot of CLTs, then they shouldn't vie just for 1 seat. So we don't know where the college is going, but so we want to protect the faculty as it is, but at the same time, we can't disenfranchise lecturers and CLTs in numbers. So by adding another seat, then we allow for the possibility that both a CLT and a lecturer could be on PNB.
Does that help? Okay. Any other questions or comments? If we are ready to vote on it, we can, if someone would make a motion to bring this to a vote, we could vote on it today. It doesn't seem that there are questions or concerns that require a change in this, but it would take someone bringing that motion to the floor. Sumant?
Yes, I bring the motion to floor to
To approve the revision of the governance plan. Leslie?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Sumantha's motion.
Sumant's motion, say it again, Sumant. I move.
Yeah, so I move the motion to approve the revision to PNB articles.
Okay. Is that good?
Sorry, before we remember the change that Evelyn suggested, so can we include that because it's not in the text?
Okay, so the change to the text is that it say provost / VP of academic affairs, not just provost. In case the position becomes just a VP of academic affairs. So Leslie, how do I handle that change to the language?
So Sumant can clarify his motion. I was just typing in the chat to say that he moves to approve the Article 8 with the change in text from provost to VP of AA. And then someone we need to second.
Okay. Sumant, just because it's a challenging mental exercise, make your motion again with the change.
So the change is,
Cha-
the article, revision to Article 8.
Approved with, or a motion to approve with the change that it is say provost slash VP of academic affairs.
Okay, yeah, so, so once again, I'm putting the motion to approve.
That's it. You move. That's it.
Okay,
Second.
Thank you.
seconded. Somebody seconded.
I did.
Oh, Loretta already seconded. Good job.
Wait,
Okay.
just
So
one,
if there's a motion and a second, then Sumanth as the mover has the right of first refusal, so he can pro and con first.
Okay, are we arguing, so basically you're now making statements in favor of or against approving this revision of the governance plan article?
Well, I approve
Because,
because, Patricia explained the change
great,
and I was convinced,
okay.
so.
Other comments for or against?
I just say hi, hi everybody. in the-
Hello, Paul. Good to see you.
Oh, I want to interrupt. I did interrupt.
Leslie,
I would like to also speak for the motion. The work that was done was with full constituency representation, and I think it is an adequate change for the way that LaGuardia is functioning without disenfranchising any groups. So I think that the article is worthy of approval. So I do speak for the motion.
all right. Anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? Patricia?
sorry, yeah, I can't, my hand gestures don't work. It's just another little detail. I'm not sure it's going to be Article 7 or Article 8 in the entire governance plan. That's what I'm not sure. So we'll keep it.
We don't need to know that right now.
Okay, all right.
Well, that makes sense. So let's call it the PMB article. Good, thank you for that clarification. Any other comments for or against? All right, do we need a voice vote? A voice vote should work, right?
So again, with past precedent, we have done a roll call for important or really significant. However, Roberts agrees that a voice vote is okay. So just with our process, you probably want to do a roll call.
Let's do a roll call. If you are on Zoom and are the senator, you may vote. You don't count for quorum, but you may vote. If you are in the room and the senator, also you may vote. If you're an alternate in the room, but your senator is on Zoom, let the senator vote. So the senator has a vote, the alternate does not, but we're glad you're all here because it's helping. So Jill, are you ready for a roll call vote?
Yes.
All right.
Senator Correa.
Nope. No. You've been around a lot.
Senator DiCarlo.
Aye.
Senator Minga.
Aye.
Senator Victory. Aye. Senator Sumaka.
Aye.
Senator Buckley Lockhart.
Aye.
Senator Tukolsky.
She's trying you. Senator Sikorski, how do you vote? You're muted.
Aye.
Senator Pappas.
Aye.
Thank you. Senator Tower. Aye. Senator Bush.
Aye.
Senator Capuano Vela.
Aye.
Senator Calantria.
She's trying to unmute.
Aye. Yes, aye.
Senator Davis Cooper. Aye. Senator Johnson.
Aye.
Senator Isaac.
Aye.
Senator Scales,
Aye.
Senator Uganda,
Aye.
Senator Gordon Conyers. Aye. Senator Z. Senator Davis,
Aye.
Senator O'Sullivan,
Aye.
Senator Roski. Aye. Senator Kehoe. Aye. Senator Gurai.
Aye, it's Gurai.
You know I can't say your name, I'm sorry.
Right, last name correctly. What happened now?
Maybe the second year that I know you, I'll get it right. Senator, what did I say? Oh, Shakira? Yeah,
She's not here. Yep, Lucia?
Aye.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here too.
And Chairperson Runs.
Aye. So, I think the committee on the revision of the P and B article deserves a round of applause for 1 year's worth of work. Thank you, and thank you, Marissa, for being here on behalf of the committee, and, so, bravo, all right. So, the revision, the motion is approved. We are now ready for the presentation on, facilities and capital projects from, VP, Shahir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Be here. So hopefully we're gonna make a presentation once a year or more than that, once a year to determine what we're doing in terms of capital projects and what's on the drawing table, what's being funded, but we're in the funding stage and what's in construction or near completion.
And let me remind senators of one of the purposes of your role here is to be the conduit for communication to the rest of the college chief constituents. So what we learned today from Vice President Irfan should be in some way or other, short form, long form, whatever you choose, communicated to the college. Bravo. Yeah, I'm gonna. No, I'm not.
So I'll skip the table of contents and mention that, and we get capital versus operating. Just to go over, capital is something long-term. When we get funding, it's usually New York State and New York City issue bonds for large projects. Construction project, large equipment, and the monies roll over from 1 year to another until the project is completed. We get that separate allocation. Basically, the state and city borrows money from investors to pay for this construction, and they pay similar to a mortgage payment that you do over 30 years. So it has no bearing in our operating budget, other than if we do new construction, obviously there's less maintenance work to be done. Other than that, has no effect on our operating budget. The operating budget is the day-to-day PS, OTPS, and there's other things that we use, software and things that we use for day-to-day operation. And the money, if it's not used by June 30th, goes back to the city. Lately, we don't have to worry about that because of the budget. So that's what that's the difference between capital there. So the capital budget, what are the funding sources for capital project? There's 5-year capital project. These are mostly master plan driven. What are the major things that we want to do? Usually it's determined by CUNY and the college at some period of time in advance, 5 years in advance. What are the priorities? And then there's another budget that's no more than $10 million. It's discretionary fund from City Council, Board of President, and Mayor's office. It's called Reso Aid funding. So we mostly on a year-to-year basis, we deal with Reso Aid funding. How does it work? I'll go through it later, but Board of Trustees at the end looks at all the projects that are put forward by colleges. In terms of priority, they go with critical maintenance, completion of ongoing jobs. Lately, the cost escalation has taken over, so usually fall short and you want to supplement that project, so it brings it to a completion. Infrastructure upgrade, including IT, so sort of those are the things that are listed under the bullets or the priorities of the Board of Trustees. Once they approve it, it's written in a book around December, it goes to the mayor's office, city council, New York State, and that's when the lobbying started. There are a couple of other smaller projects, although it's not as frequent. CUNY 2020, if you see the Goldman Sachs space, it was funded $5 million from CUNY 2020, but it's not a frequent availability of fund for these projects. Once in a while, there's an announcement by the government, and we put in our proposal and it's selected. The CCAP, or we're also calling it SAM, State and Municipal projects. These are projects or grants that are discretionary by state assembly members, so they could give us up to $250,000. And we've done a number of projects like theater seat replacement, audiovisual, but the money is limited, $250,000 per legislature. And the amount of paperwork that it takes sometimes, you think twice before even applying for it, because you go months and months going back and forth with forms to be filled out, and only to just either at the last stage tell you that you're okay to go or more work is needed. So those are the summaries. I don't know if you have any question, we could go toward the end, or please feel free to.
I'm hearing, for the people at home, they can't see this slide.
They can't see it?
They're stuck on the presentation slide, or the introduction, the title slide. So it must be what we hear was right there, and see if. Try again. Those of you at home, how does that work? Oh yeah, that looks like it now. Okay. Good.
I did send a copy of the presentation to Jill. Christina did, so
Yes.
you should have a copy of it.
I have a copy.
Great. Okay.
So the timeline, the interesting thing that you see here is starting April to around this time, we get inquiries from CUNY saying, what are your projects? That's when we consult with various constituents, and also we look at what are the real issues on campus that we need to address. And what are, we look at our list of priorities, go back and forth with CUNY, so that we determine what has not been completed, what's short of fund and stuff. This is just for Reso A funding. And then as we go the September to December, CUNY takes all these things, put them together for Board of Trustees. And in December, usually it's presented to the Board of Trustees for their approval. Once it's approved, it becomes official request on behalf of the university. And if you want to see the list, the final list, usually it's published on the web pages of CUNY under capital projects. And then once the lobbying starts in the New York City decisions and CP process. CP process is the certificate to proceed. Lately, because of the budget issues, it's taking a lot of time. They're looking for a project that's going to start in 2 years. They ask for actual proposals, which doesn't consider escalation. They start negotiating, which I'll give you an example. The IT infrastructure, that's in CP stage. They're looking for certain servers, a current quote, for something that by the time we get the funds released, it's going to be 2 years. I can't guarantee if a Cisco switch or a server is going to be at that price, but I think part of it is just to delay giving the funding to the colleges and agencies.
Yeah.
And then once we get that through city sends a letter to state, and then you go through Office of Budget for State. and they call something a form similar to CP 1184. And once they release the money, we get to see it, and then DASNY and CUNY can give us a green light to start the project. So it's a long process. It's getting longer as the budget crisis is more evident with state and city. So sort of that's one way to delay projects. So this way they don't have to put up funding. Yeah. So that's why when you see projects that are lingering on, it's a lot of them has to do with the delays that try to save money or at least kick the can down the road a bit. And then once after that, so if you look at it from year 0 to second year, it's just the paperwork.
So no building starts, it's just trying to.
So if you
get-
were to tell me, that our critical project is a project, let's say poolside. We put it in now, the earliest you could see the funding in place is two years from now. So, that's it. And keep in mind for Rezo A, it's also a discretion of the city council member and board of president's office. That sometimes you scratch your head, it says it wasn't on our list. And so we're given the project the 29th Street this year from city council. The challenge is it's a nice project if we had ownership of the street. We don't have the ownership.
It was a $2 million
$2 million.
gift for that project, but it's not our street.
It's not our street yet, so maybe that will help us lobby for it, but by the time until we have the deed, it's hard to issue a bond. It's like taking a mortgage for your neighbor's house. Yeah, that's basically what. But again, our request was the repair to the ceiling and HVAC of the pool. Projects in construction phase, we replaced the glass storefront in the library second floor. It's 99% completed, it's in punch list stages. It looks really good. We had some issues with the original installation. Under the project, it was covered by the insurance and they're still arguing, but as far as we're concerned, the project is complete. The other project, the facade is substantially done. They found a few things, a few cracked panels in there. Most of the minor things were addressed. There are 5 or 6 on each side that we're looking for shipment to here, and they'll be replaced, and we should be fine. And that will, after that, once it's certified, the sidewalk shelf will be removed. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just interested in, can you give an estimate of when the scaffolding will come down? Because we can't take pictures.
My challenge is if the engineers don't certify that it's safe, I cannot
Yeah,
ask them to
no,
remove it. So
I understand, I just an
I
estimate.
would, if the panels are installed, probably we're talking about another 6 months. And then I need a certified, a professional engineer to sign off on it, that yes, the repairs that are made is compliant with the local law 11. Once it's done, we can remove it. Otherwise, I will not allow it. Safety first. And another project is we have various roofs in throughout the buildings that are aging and need to be replaced. E-building last year, a number of them that were replaced. More to be done. The thing that we're considering in negotiation with CUNY is replacement of the roof above the main stage. It's pretty high. And it's getting that, so that's within the negotiation stage with CUNY to see if we can get them as part of critical maintenance.
So the e-building roofs other than the main stage and the others?
The majority of the roof, I think more than, I would say 70% of the roof in e-building have been done. Above the 5th floor, which is not leaking, we had a couple of leaks, but they were not related to the roof. They were more pipe leaks. We're moving resources over to the main stage area, yes.
I was thinking, other than main stage, when can we anticipate being 70% or the 30%?
The 70% is completed if you can
No, I'm
see.
saying, we expect the 30%.
Well, the funding itself, if we get the funding, yeah.
So it's not construction. That's it.
This is in construction, so it's ongoing. We have one, so sort of, we have funding for the 5th floor. I want to shift the 5th floor to the main stage roof area because that's where the critical. When you have performances, you just don't want, on a rainy day for rain to ruin our events.
So that whole funding is in place for the Eagle.
I am, because of the size of the agenda, I am gonna try to, I know, there's actually a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Yeah, we have too many other things to do today. I encourage you to take up questions with Shahir later. I'm sure he's open to it. But yeah, let's keep going.
So the project's on in planning phase, it's a new science, OT and PT labs on the 3rd floor of the E building. That means we move science labs from 2nd floor of M building over to E building where the infrastructure is there. So we're close to completion of the design. As soon as we get a green light on the funding part, we'll move ahead with the construction. Library renovations, 2nd phase, we just restarted that project, which was on hold during COVID. And we're hoping within next 2-3 months, we get to the construction design stage. In other words, right now, we're finishing all the design activities, and then the final part will be all the components put together for bid. C building infrastructure, there's 4 empty floors in the building. We can't ask for funding to renovate a floor without having additional elevators. So we'll add in 5 new elevators. Also, keep in mind, it was warehouse before. We need to increase the size of power coming in to the building. So that's the current estimate is, because of electrical work, is about $122 million. The numbers will go up and down. It's a prevailing wage job, so those costs are, they seem prohibitive, but they're very complex. The building is one of the largest in CUNY. So it's 1 million square feet of space. So needs everything from, just keep in mind, just cutting concrete floors from basement all the way to the roof for the elevator. It's a major task, just removing concrete. So we'll move forward, the fire alarm upgrade, the design is complete. We're stuck with New York Fire Department, FDNY. They have to give their blessing before we go. But that's for main building. And various campus energy projects. So soon you will see folks replacing light fixtures with an energy efficient light. And a few motors behind the scenes that you can see. These are some of the pictures. I think the diagram shows, the library 1st floor. You see that's a rendering that you eventually hopefully will, once we get the job done, and it will look like that. Projects in funding phase, pool renovation. So one of the Razoi project was the renovation of the pool, because the pool has, whenever you clean the water or you maintain a clean water, you put chlorine. Chlorine is highly corrosive. So and the ceiling, that was originally put in there shouldn't be in there. So we're looking to replace the ceiling or remove the ceiling altogether and put a nylon duct work there. So this way there's no corrosion. We asked for this from City Council. We received money from 29th Street. So we're gonna, Borough President's Office gave us, I believe, $1 million. And so we're gonna go back hopefully next year, which for what that would propose to put additional funding in there. And upgrade theater lighting, we have $250,000. We're going through the paperwork. And construction of student plaza, that one that I talked about. So right now, that's gonna be a long delay for us. Capital requests and priorities, the pool facility renovation, because we were looking for $7.5 to $10 million to do the job. We have about $2 million so far. $5 million probably would be sufficient. The campus-wide elevator upgrades, new codes have come, but unfunded mandates for us. Like if you want to upgrade these elevators, we need the monies money to do, the operating funds cannot afford it. HVAC upgrade of M building. M building was designed and built in 1970. We're running it, but we need to replace them. The age of these equipment are usually about 30, 40 years, so we're way past that. Roof of the M building, it's a single ply, basically, it's like bicycle tube, if you see the big and rolls, you put it in, if a screwdriver falls on it, you'll have a hole in there, that's about it. So that's where we have issues with majority of the M building roof. This is published, so you could see it on at your leisure at CUNY's website. These are the list of projects for 5-year projects, not Reso A. And what's the priority that has been put in there? Obviously, any input that you have, either you can send me emails or in person see me. We'll try to consider it, but it's a negotiation. And that's about it.
All right. Are there pressing questions? Pressing questions are welcome.
I guess I'll ask how much of this we have funding for and how much we do not have funding for.
The ones that are in planning phase, we have funding. But keep in mind, since COVID has hit, the cost of construction have gone up. So one of the projects we had last time we presented was BECC. We had about $18 million. Well, we had to move that money to an infrastructure project we call the shortfall at the current for infrastructure project.
Avez-vous des douleurs? Excusez-moi.
Hold on, sorry. There we go. Go ahead.
Yes.
The poolside cafe, what's going, I saw it on there, what are we doing with that?
Poolside cafe, we're trying to remove the column from the middle, so this way you have a wide open space. It's 1 story, the only weight on it is a roof, so we think the removal of the column is not a major deal. I mean, nevertheless, we have to do the right thing. We have a design, we have everything filed in, we're in the process of getting funding, and this is one of those time-consuming processes it's a CCAP funded project.
Any other questions?
I have one that I apologize, but I think it's complicated. How are these priorities set? Meaning, I'm not talking about critical maintenance, but I'm talking about how is it determined that these labs are being done, whereas for the pool side versus another area in the college? And is there any way that we can formalize this process so the rest of the college is aware of how these priorities are done?
So every, I'll go with the longer term project. Every 5 years to 10 years, CUNY sends a group of architects and engineers in the building. Actually, a couple of months ago, you had them walking around, they look at everything. And they make an assessment of what's the age and what's the expected life of these equipment and things. And they put a priority, so sort of like red line, the ones that are really super critical. And then it goes lower, and obviously the high priorities are the one that is being considered for those, for the 5-year project. Resume, I think it's this group, the college cabinet, and my office, with the advice of my office, will make those priorities. But keep in mind, city council and board of president, they could have their own agenda, and they'll give us what they want to give us for whatever project that rings well there on their side. That's just that.
This may be a silly question. I'm just wondering, are our enrollment targets a factor in making these decisions to fund capital construction projects?
Yes. Yes, partly because when we do the assessment of classrooms utilization, then one of the factors is what's the number of classrooms and labs you have based on the population. So if I say half of this building is, the HVAC system is gonna go really bad, they'll turn around and says, you have plenty of space, we could defer that project. So it's all interconnected. And also enrollment, the higher the enrollment, that the city officials look at those, the elected officials.
Right.
And they wanna know the constituents and the membership that are attending this college, so that the larger the group, that the better it is.
Okay, any other questions? Shahir, thank you so much for this presentation.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks.
I've made a note for myself to, invite Shahir for this presentation in the springtime when Senate's a little less busy and we could take a little more time to really think it through and have some interaction. Will
He be able to share the slides?
he shared the slides with Joe and me, and so Joe, we can send that out to members of the Senate. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, on the agenda, next, what I want to do is to briefly discuss the Senate year-end report. It went out to all of you as a document. What I'm hoping for. Still have that. Oh, mercy, sorry, I don't know, hold on here. I see what's going on. So we can't see, on the screen at home, we can't see we can't see the Zoom people because does anyone know how to operate the projector sharing here? I could take some time to figure it out, but it's gonna take me a while to figure out. Because there's the device that connects this computer to the projector is now on, the slideshow. And I'm gonna try to figure it out, since no one is leaning forward. Go to here.
Yeah.
You're still here. See if you can, we got it. Do I have it? Maybe. Wait, don't go away, because.
All the way on the left, on the right, the arrow, the arrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't needed.
Yeah, we're muted. Who knew I could be so technologically advanced? So, the Senate year-end report, lists all the Senate responsibilities with what we accomplished under each of those sections. Do you have questions, feedback, concerns, about that report? Anything that I missed? I didn't hear from anyone in advance. Let me, I can pull it up. We are gonna take the time now to talk in detail, but I would like to make sure that you all have looked at it. And that if it's good with you, we can approve it.
I know we went through this last year. Does it need to be saved in any, anything in particular, the title? Like save the document in any particular way?
So, we can determine that.
Okay, because we discussed that last year.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should talk about it again. It's gonna be saved into, there's a Senate SharePoint where it will be. I'm hoping to also have a spot on the Senate website so that it will be publicly available.
For now, you don't need to save it as anything, because I'm gonna change the names when I upload them to
You do,
here.
okay.
I have instructions on how.
On how,
to
yeah.
Okay.
Agendas, minutes, all different sorts of.
Perfect, thank you.
No worries.
Gotcha.
So yeah, well, and then, yeah, one of the projects for this year is to create some more space on the Senate website for things like this, including the PowerPoints that we've seen. I'd like to, those should go there too. And right now we don't have a space for that. So that's on my agenda. If any of you are interested in volunteering to help with that, let me know. But, all right.
Is a message.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at the chat, sorry. We'll need to approve all the committee year reports, so we can approve all reports as one motion, but then Leslie's asking if we need to approve all the committee reports. I did not know that or think of that, since the committees handle their own reports, but perhaps, definitely I would like the Senate to approve the Senate year-end report. But
Not all reports have been submitted yet. So
So-
if we want to approve them, we can, if we decide to, we do it at the next meeting.
at the next
Because they
meeting,
haven't all been submitted yet.
okay,
Yeah,
So-
I think in the past, we just basically received them. We haven't actually voted to approve.
to approve them. Yeah, I think that is the way we've handled it. What I would like today, at least, since we have the Senate year-end report, is for you to approve it if you don't have any concerns or see any changes that need to be made. And then Leslie, then we'll come back to the committee reports. We can discuss that at the executive committee in the next meeting. So, no questions, comments, additions about the Senate year-end report, which, oh yeah, you can see it on the screen. At least the first page. And Leslie's commented, if we're trusting our committees to do the work, the Senate should approve the year-end reports. And so, yeah, let's pursue that for a next meeting, since not all reports have been received. Sounds good. Anything from anyone regarding?
Should be email.
Yeah, it was an attachment with the, with this Senate invitation, along with the revised, article of the governance plan. Yeah, there's another attachment there. So it's several pages long, and it goes through as best I can, the accomplishments of Senate, what we've done in the last year. Once it is, are we ready to vote on this? Do we need to, consider it, take it up later? Are we good? All right, we're gonna do a voice vote, if I have a motion. I'm deciding, I'm not even asking my. This time, because President.
You just wait till I'm there in person, Christy. Just watch it.
Right now, I can just mute you. So we need a motion to approve this Senate year-end report. Loretta, you want to speak to your motion?
I motion that we accept the Senate year-end report with gratitude for everyone for their submissions and their hard work.
Second. And second by Charis. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. The year-end reports, it is of the Senate is approved. I will share it with President Adams and the cabinet just for their review now that it's gone through this process. We are now, so next on the agenda is the chair's report. I am going to skip that because President Adams is here to be part of the, briefly to take some questions, but mostly to hear the brief year-end presentations of the, wait, let me say that again. The presentation, brief presentations of the committee year-end reports, okay? So, and then I will hopefully have time to quickly run through some announcements and the chair's report. I have a few things I want to say there. Before we have committee presentations, are there briefly questions for President Adams?
And also, I'm just staying.
Oh, you're gonna stay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're staying. If they come up. Great, but I wanted, because there is a question that has come up that I wanted to mention, regarding the status of the college bookstore.
Want me to do that now?
Briefly.
Yeah.
Yes, before I lose track of that and it gets away from us. Yes,
That
briefly.
is changing.
The bookstore is changing, not that brief.
I want to make sure, hi, everybody who's, tuned in via Zoom through the owl. And seriously, have a good afternoon. This is a CUNY-wide phenomenon, as you may know, which is sort of Barnes and Noble saying they don't want to be in the CUNY bookstore business any longer. And they've been phasing out Barnes and Noble bookstores all across the system. The replacement on most CUNY campuses, and you may be familiar with this, is an online system called Academos. So LaGuardia is switching over to Academos. Now, this is really important for textbooks, for students, for faculty to know about. You're going to get lots of information about it. Understand that for the summer and gearing up to the semester that just started, we asked Barnes and Noble to stick around and provide all the textbooks and all the support to get the fall semester started. And now in the next few weeks, when everything's good, we can start the transition over. I think Shahir was just telling me, he showed me the list of 25 CUNY schools, so senior colleges, community colleges, comprehensive and graduate schools. Only 3 are not on the Academos platform. So there is sort of strength in numbers for CUNY in terms of doing this. if you're curious like I am, BMCC went in another direction with a different vendor. Kingsborough and City Tech were actually not sure. The community central office isn't even sure what they're doing. They must, maybe they run their own bookstore. Running a college bookstore is not a good idea. Like, we can't do this ourselves. You know, 23 other schools can't do it. In other words, if Barnes and Noble leaves, it's not like we can take it over. So Academos is, if you may know, is an online platform where faculty would describe or order, in fact, you know, the books, and students access them that way. It has a lot of services, it's very student friendly. It's again, a very common way to order books without going to a physical bookstore and grabbing a book the way you might remember doing it off the shelf and paying it at the cash register. And Shahir, if you have more questions on this, supposed to be brief and talk about it. We're gonna do a whole rollout of this. What you may be wondering, you know, Anthony wonders about this for alumni who want sweatshirts, right? Is if you don't have a bookstore, where do you get the college stuff, right? The college swag, the shirts, the caps, the fun stuff that we all like. We're gonna find our own LaGuardia way to do that. Because Academos doesn't do that. Academos is really just a textbooks, like learning support. So for the other part of the college store, even those that if you think it's important to sell chewing gum, you know, to students, which I don't think the maintenance crew thinks is a good idea, but seriously, like for things like snacks and the aspirin and the Band-Aids and hats and caps and sweatshirts, we're thinking of kind of like a cart, I said push cart, you know, like a vending cart, like when you know, you go to a mall or a shopping center, people have these carts in the middle of it, and they can be closed up and secured and locked up at night, and you can have a cash register or just a point of sale thing that's all automated. We might want to go to something like that, or even with, you know, MBJ or whoever our ultimate food vendor is, you actually take a cart like that and you have it next to the food vendor and you have the same people staff it. Because then from a security standpoint and cash management standpoint, you've got, you know, someone watching, right? And so that's gonna be the transition. Academos, the online platform for books and textbooks, and then some kind of cart or carts for merchandise, you know, college stuff, college store type things. That's the plan, and we'll have more information on that later. Is that sufficient?
Yeah, I think so.
What, questions?
Too many questions. Cindy and then Anthony and then Charis. And there was a question online that I've already tried to answer.
And can everybody, in the Zoom here, okay? I mean, this is picking me up.
You can,
right?
yeah.
My question is, I've heard that we are not going to, that students cannot buy their textbooks, when they buy their textbooks online, they have to ship it to their own apartments, and they couldn't pick it up here. And things like that can be a real hardship for some students.
They don't know.
It's hard enough for me to
You know,
We're in negotiation with Academo to see if we could have similar to Amazon lockers on campus, so some areas that we thought of natural for having those books, so because of the staffing level, we could not accommodate it. So if we have an automated system with lockers and Academos is providing it, that's probably the best option. But we'll find a way to get students. Right now, we're in negotiation, trying to get that somewhere.
I think here in terms of timing, this will affect fall 2.
Fall 2, so what's gonna happen is fall 2, they looked at the sales for Barnes and Noble for sessions 2. There's not much activity, so also they have to gear up for their new website. What they want to do is if instructors and others are asking for students to purchase books, ISBN numbers can be given to Academos to go to their website. Our website will have a link to Academos.
Right.
But starting spring 1, they're integrated with CUNY first. So they can see what courses, what textbooks are on, and they will stock up those textbooks that are listed by instructors.
Right. And so, good point, Cindy, about delivery, like a drop off, how we figure that out for a student who wasn't one of the books delivered to home.
Anthony?
Yeah, I was gonna ask a similar question, but also, like, I know normally with the bookstore, you know, I mean, there's a return period, there's a buyback period, so how is that gonna I may not have answers yet, but how would that be affected by students? And will financial aid still be able to be covered, cover books and things like that through this?
I don't think it will see similar to what we had with Barnes and Noble, you'll have those. We're also controlling the shipping stuff and also the price match guarantees that they have to have. So if you have something like Barnes and Noble, like for Amazon, they have to match the price. I think we'll have more instructions. We get to learn what they're doing. And also they will have sessions with the chairs, the faculty members, they will tape, so this way, as we read it, we can go back and watch those videos and the questions and that.
And then
Feel free to reach out to Carmen. If you have any questions, we'll meet with them on a weekly basis. About in fact, this Friday, we'll meet.
Campus affairs would like to be involved, because I know we used to have a bookstore committee, like we were closely involved, so I mean, we'd like to be kept in the loop about it too, because I only just found out about it today in my office, but yeah, campus affairs should be kept apprised of those too.
Yeah, and there's a question in the chat that wondering if anyone's talked with faculty and students to know what works and what their needs are. So if there's faculty and students involved in the discussion, I think that might be helpful.
They will definitely be involved. The only thing we didn't want to confuse folks because one of them was severe. They're stocking up for fall one, so if you give mixed messages, we'll have issues.
Yeah.
Now that they will be closing shop, you'll see more updates on campus updates and also emails, inviting folks to participate in meetings.
But I think here, to whoever asked that question is a good one. We should also try to learn from the vast majority of campuses that have already gone through this transition to academics. And what problems did they, what can we learn from their experiences, both students and faculty, at, 20 colleges across the system that have already done that. So we're one of the last colleges obviously to go in this transition.
Okay. So there are 3 more people with questions, and we have about 100 more things to do in this meeting. So if your question is important, Lucy, go for it.
Since we are moving a lot into online, are there gonna be e-versions of the textbooks in Barnes and Noble? Are they gonna offer that option to students and faculty?
Yes, e-version and also rental for all those,
That avoids
the
some delivery things, maybe.
You can.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's
Jamie, I know you.
very kind of question. Last day the bookstore is open is?
They're end of the month, but they're closing for gathering days on this, next Friday. End of day Friday, they're done.
And that goes okay with the refund period? So,
They're still around for another week. Okay. And then we can,
When's the last day that the Barnes and Noble operation will be open for business?
22nd of September.
Okay. All right,
I have a question.
yes.
I'll be the
Denise.
last one, I promise.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to ask, has there been any consideration for transforming the space into possibly like a
Oh,
lounge,
yes.
game room or so? I know you remember last year, we had a lot of responses from students on Senate who wanted to see a space, right? We have a
So
space.
we had that discussion at Senate last spring with a lot of SGA members here. And thank you. And the answers were, we are looking into that. What we took from that meeting is just the idea that students really are hungry for more space to hang out. Take a nap, do some homework, talk to friends. And could space like that space down there be made available for that? I think here we're looking at that.
We're gonna look at that, we're gonna look at HVAC system, whether it's supported, we want to provide the proper environment for folks.
Yeah, because it's a basement space with no light or fresh air, you have to be a little careful about, right? Just the quality of it, right? So, because you can store textbooks in that back room, right, in the storeroom, but that's not equal. But yeah, the answer is, that whole area of, the basement and M is an opportunity for us to do that. I like and when you go into C building and you go to the left and there's all the seating and you can go up the stairs, more seats, a lot of hangout space, food, yeah, we want more of that.
Jill has a question she considers important enough to
I'm
ask.
saying you opened the door to this with MBJ, but a cafeteria.
There you go, Jill.
I'm not happy, but my students are also, you want us to be back on campus, and I do not see what's going on in the lobby of the C building as being sufficient enough
I-
to accommodate the students,
So-
especially if we're gonna be adding a kiosk.
If we, you know, Madam President doesn't want us to open up the whole can of worms, but I want to answer that question. This is another CUNY system-wide vendor issue, which are, you know, food service organizations contracted by campuses to do food services. Our MBJ contract expired. This summer, we did an RFP to see if we could find other companies, and that's not to say anything critical about MBJ, you know, but to see who else would want the job, and then have a competitive bidding process, and then think about who we would want to bring in. Again, mindful of comments made in this room, especially by students who raised the food issue, as many other people have last year. We didn't really get a good response to the RFP. They're not a lot. We had a big major operator that thought they wouldn't make enough money here. We had other operators, actually, we didn't have very many respond to the RFP, so MBJ is still on month to month. And so, and the central office this recently, last week, BBC Batista asked me what's going on with this, we gotta send them a note. Because this is a problem around CUNY, especially during the pandemic, these outside vendors lost a lot of money. Because you didn't have students on campus, you know, faculty, staff, so some of them that are bigger, you know, may have made it through. MBJ, to their credit, is still around, it's a very small company. I think they only do one other campus.
They're John Jay.
Yeah.
So, and BNCC, but they're two brands. We're negotiating with them to at least either extend it by 6 months or a year. So we get some, we see more foot traffic. Yeah, we had inquiries when we sent the RFP, if we could subsidize the
Right.
operation, and I don't think we're prepared to.
No, and I think he said off the record, there's some campuses that do that.
Yeah.
And that's a financial, they're taking students' tuition money to subsidize the vendor to sell them junk food. So we're trying to make a go of it, we're gonna work with MBJ. All I can say is, spend as much money as you can down there. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I do, but, you know, we want them to be successful, and we wanna be able to improve the menu and lower the prices. It's too expensive for our students. So month to month, we'll see what we can do.
Not on the agenda, but really important, and I'm glad you were here to talk about this, because, and urgent too, so, all right. Committee reports. Ready? Committee of Committees is first.
Okay. So this year we had, two new senators join us. We had, Senator Gordon Conyers, so thank you. And so, Senator Skills, thank you as well for participating. We were charged in the beginning with prioritizing the Committee on Elections and the Committee on Campus Affairs. And so 7 names were sent to the Committee on Campus Affairs and 6 names were sent to the Committee on Campus Elections. If that number is incorrect, just let me know, but that's what I got.
And is Saret still here? She's the chair of the Committee on Campus, or Committee on Elections. I don't see her.
I don't see her either.
Okay.
Yeah. We've also been promoting other committees that have reached out to us, but we have been struggling, of course, to just get more volunteers to participate. We did table at Greenway, so thank you, Johnny, with that. But we are in discussion with Manny to work on promoting College Senate so that it's more visible. And what does that actually look like?
Yeah.
So,
Great. Thank you very much, Jen. Curriculum Committee, Jill has a report from Priyantha, who is not able to be here. You do have a report. It is a small PowerPoint, hopefully. I think you can share your screen. Yeah.
Sorry, I distracted.
Yeah.
Senator Keo.
We're talking to her right when she was ready. All right, here's Saret.
oh, Saret is.
Yeah. All right.
So this is the College Senate Curriculum Committee report.
Yeah, Priyantha's got a conflict, he's on his department's P&B committee, and they were, I think, in their meeting now, so he's not able to be here.
Yes.
But go ahead.
So he submitted this PowerPoint, to summarize their work. highlighting the change of leadership of the committee from Deborah Engel, who has had its helm for quite some time.
Yes.
Summarizing their 11 meetings, having passed new revised courses, as well as informational items related to new courses, discontinued courses and programs, changes in policy, articulation agreements. And notably, they created a new course proposal form, which was approved by the Senate, with minor revisions, and they have adopted that in their committee. And then he has submitted a comprehensive list of new and revised courses that we all have seen across in our Senate invitation emails that we have voted on throughout the past year. So I can send this out if anybody wants to see the summary of the committee. But these are all of the courses that went through the committee. The committee membership, including the chairs of the departments and committee members from different areas of the college. And then lastly, I will do the slide to her. A special thank you to Deborah, who is enjoying her well-deserved retirement.
Great, thank you, Jill. On behalf of the Senate and on behalf of Bianca for that report. Academic Standing Committee, and last, thank you for being here.
Oh, sure, thanks everyone. So Academic Standing Committee worked very hard as usual on improving and bettering and creating new policy. So the first thing that we accomplished as we have revised the exemption credit policy. You'll remember the discussion we had after consulting with the Senate, and we made a small change to the note on the policy, which now allows degree high school students from the early college program to also take advantage of the exemption credit policy. Then our major accomplishment, again, very much in working with the Senate, was the revision of the attendance policy that you all remember so well. That was, again, a long process of gathering information, revising, getting feedback, going back again and revising. And finally, on March 29th, the Senate approved the new policy, which now allows departments to develop their own attendance policies. And we are working on implementation this year and making sure that every department is in fact developing and has a clear policy, and that we will gather that policy and that it is a transparent process. We also have a yearly workshop on policies, on new policies changes that was initially for new faculty, but really it is open to the whole college, and we invite everyone. Mark your calendars this year. 99% that it is on October 16th. I have to just confirm with the committee because there's a little bit of an overlap with the new faculty seminar actually. So I want to make sure that the new faculty can attend since we have a lot of lecturers, but it will happen again and it will be over Zoom most likely. So there will be an announcement of that workshop soon, but we had it last year as well. So we have finished that, and then not finally. Almost finally, we have started working on a major project that involves developing online learning policies. We are working closely with the online learning committee. We are doing our own research. We have begun this work, but obviously, as you can imagine, it's a very, very complicated and long process. And so hopefully we will make progress this year, and you will hear probably about this moving forward, but we have started that conversation. We also considered changing the academic forgiveness policy. We postponed it because it came up last minute, so we will probably submit the proposal this year to the Senate, probably quite soon, but we have started working on that. And then we also expanded and revised the Academic Standing Committee's website. We have a new URL, so if you Google it, we don't come up because of the revision of the website, but we have added a section on policy updates So anyone can see the new policies, the new attendance policy is there, other stuff is there as well. So I will share the new URL as well. So these were the accomplishments here, and thank you again for all your patience and feedback.
Great, thank you, Linda. Committee on Campus Affairs.
Okay, so, those, you know, you all know that after many years of service, Nada, retired, so we restructured Campus Affairs this last year with the help of the committee on committees. We did get a lot of new members. Evelyn and I took over as co-chairs. And of course, the first thing we had was the children campus policy. So between, November and March, we met repeatedly and we finally got that approved with your help. So that was our biggest accomplishment of the year. We are in search of a secretary because we don't really have a secretary, out of our volunteers. We are still looking for some members. We do need a new student because our student has graduated. So we do need at least one student. We're gonna start looking at the visitors policy. I know we were charged with that last time. We also started looking into the cafeteria. Evelyn and I were both on the RFP committee to meet with potential vendors, but that didn't happen. So, we're willing to, do that and, meet with the vendors and. Hopefully find a new cafeteria. Yes. So we are doing that as part of that as well. So, we're happy to say that we're back on our feet and back doing stuff. So other issues that come up, like the bookstore and things like that, we definitely want to be involved.
Great, one question. I don't remember, I apologize, if it was the beginning of last year or the end of the year prior, but the electronic equipment, mobile devices.
That,
Okay.
yeah, I think that was technically,
The signage
before, I
went
think it
up.
was like before
The
September.
signage went up, the signage came down. The amount of people carrying those batteries into the building has not changed, so. I'm just asking, maybe we need to say, please, look at that again.
Look at that again. What happened to the signage?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's really more enforcement,
It is
because yes,
enforcement.
I've seen them chained up and stuff like that too, which. We've said that they should not be chained up, near the fences, and I think security has clipped, some of them, so. I don't know, well, she here left, I don't know, I don't know what kind of, how often that's
I
happening.
can ask him about it, but yeah, you're not in,
It-
did you have e-bikes, things with batteries?
Yeah.
It's bad to see building horrible, and before we opened up.
Because you're changing the scaffolding.
And before we opened the building, the building, just the two of these cars there. But my concern, and I'm so sorry, 'cause I know, but we discussed it in the committee. What I'm saying is, I maybe we might need to look at it again, and maybe the policy isn't exactly what we need to have a safe environment.
All right, so maybe it's not working. It's the
Let's
policy.
flag it for Shahir and Academy.
Okay,
We need, if we're gonna clip chains, we need a bike rack that people can actually use. It's not the scaffolding. Like, it's okay, the city bike doesn't count because you have the dock, but for people who wanna ride their bikes, they cannot clip them to our property, they can't clip them to the scaffolding. But we need to give them a place where they can lock them up, legit, right? So that's, I think, the missing piece.
okay. I have a note about that. I'm gonna raise another question while I'm thinking about it from Rebecca Johnson, who's chair of the Food Insecurity and Community Justice and Community Need Committee, about the change in the city's Airbnb policy and how that impacts our students. So there was an article about the LaGuardia and Airbnb offering housing for homeless students. So that's something that her committee will want to know if we should really start some protests or something, or is the college doing something about what happens to our students?
What committee is that? I'm sorry.
It is the food insecurity.
Oh, yeah.
Rebecca, you wanna, yeah.
Who said the question? Can we do 2 minutes on this? Because this is like a really important thing.
Okay,
Sorry.
go for it. And
No,
then,
not me. Whoever asked the question.
that was Rebecca. Rebecca, you're there, right?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks for bringing it up.
Sure.
And Rebecca, repeat the question. Like, did you see the article in the city?
Yes, I saw the article and it's concerning, of course, the food security, justice and community need committee. We look at housing insecurity and everything in addition to food insecurity. So we're concerned that Rhonda and LaGuardia Cares and the system to help those students who had vouchers for Airbnb, we're concerned about what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, so we all are, and just to put the 2-minute, update on this. Rebecca's referring to an article this morning on The City. If you know The City, it's it's a website, a great source of news just about the 5 boroughs in New York City. We have a Queens reporter that I know named Heidi, and we worked on the story actually most of the summer. So the story came out today, and it's about the unique LaGuardia service that we have in partnership with Airbnb. They gave us $100,000 worth of vouchers back in November, and quietly, Rhonda and LaGuardia Cares began using those vouchers to help students that we had who were sleeping in their cars and other homeless students in shelters get rooms, basically, not fancy apartments, right? Get rooms in Queens homes that the students pick. We don't pick the rooms, but we show them how to use the system to pick a room that will work for them. And then Rhonda alerts the Airbnb, and they actually pay the host through a voucher system that they have built in place with hosts. And it's working really well, as the story indicates. And they interviewed several students, some are anonymous and the victims of abuse and very difficult home situations. But as the story tells you, the system has been working for about 15 students. But Rhonda estimates this semester we may have 300 homeless students. So the question that I've been looking at is how to scale it. How can we work with Airbnb to do more? Well, the new regulations that the city put in effect to eliminate rentals under 28 days, we're worried that that's going to have an effect on the hosts that our rentals are all much longer. Because what Rhonda does is a homeless student works with Rhonda, and this is longer stories, she goes through a whole lot of checks and discussions and things like that. But we want them always to make it to the end of the semester, or even better to graduation, so that a housing insecurity does not disrupt their academic progress. And so it's a fewer number of students and a bigger dollar commitment per student. So we're almost done with the vouchers that we got from last year. I'm trying to raise, Jay and I are trying to raise more money. That's another reason the story I hope will be helpful. So to Rebecca's question is a technicality here, right? If the new city law changed, because of the changes in city regulations and the enforcement, there's a whole new enforcement division going after people who put their private homes on Airbnb for under 28 days. Is that going to reduce the supply of available rooms for our students in Queens? We're not sure. It's too soon. September 5th was the date of the enforcement. When it just kicked in, it took a year. And so we're looking at that. But from the journalist Heidi Chu who wrote the story, she wrote the story saying, hey, is this regulation going to affect your ability to serve homeless students in this way? And the answer, Rebecca, is we're worried, but I would say that as long as we can get more vouchers and raise more money and have good relationships with hosts, these are long-term hosts. Again, we're outside of the law. The law is 28 days or less. And as I said, we're taking students 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So those hosts are legal. What they're doing is legal, but they have to register. And the city's making that difficult. So off the record, he said, what we hope the article does maybe is get the city enforcement people to understand there's a lot of legitimate uses of the Airbnb platform, and this is one of them. And frankly, I think it could be used for asylum seekers, for others, but that's a whole nother story. So Rebecca, thank you for catching the story and asking the question. I should say, Alexis McLean, VP McLean is working very closely with Rhonda on this, and we're going to try to raise more money for vouchers and make sure our hosts, have good experiences with LaGuardia students and that they ask for them. So the same host could take a student over time, and hopefully we can grow. Our goal with Alexis is to grow this thing, not to let it kind of shut down as a pilot program. But thanks for the question.
Great. Yeah. Lucy,
Is there any possibility to help some of the students for any jobs?
Jobs, we get student jobs all the time.
Yes, there are so many, so
So,
I think
seriously,
we can solve
the-
this program.
over the summer,
Everyone.
I just did a meeting yesterday with the city agency, with ACS, everybody knows Jessica Paris, who runs CCPD in ACE, right? So we have been bringing in lots more companies, lots more employers, nonprofit, public. We've had students get jobs, students who did the Wells Fargo apprenticeship program, 12 students completed it, all got full-time jobs. We're like, wait, you have to graduate. No, slow down. I mean, that's how well they did. And when the companies see that, they open up the door for more opportunities for our students. So longer discussion, great discussion. But yes, we have just yesterday, we did a Zoom. I did a project over the summer with city agencies. We did a deep dive into 17 New York City agencies, all of which have really good jobs for LaGuardia students with associate degrees and bachelor's degrees as well, right? But we were looking for associate degrees. We found jobs in the park department, no one knew were there. We found, yesterday was ACS, Agency for Child Services. Jobs for our human services students, amazing jobs, really good jobs. Entry level, get involved and get into a career in civil service, right? So that was just yesterday, and we did 17 agencies. So yeah, we got jobs, we got jobs.
Big deal. And you remind me, President Adams, in the back is VP Alexis McQueen.
Yes.
Alexis, at the executive committee meeting of the Senate, we discussed, should we invite VP McQueen now, and we thought it's a very full meeting. We have new senators coming in with the new elections. We're postponing it. So end of October, we'd like to invite you to come to Senate. So and introduce yourself.
Sorry, I crashed it.
Very quiet. You are welcome, and just so everyone here knows, that's who that is, and we're VP of Student Affairs, so we're.
And you started when? June 15th.
June 15th. She's been here a little while, but this is her first Senate meeting since she's been here. Okay, back to our committee reports. Thank you for the questions. They are important. Committee of Faculty.
Yes, Christy, Co-Chair Davis is going to give the report.
Great, Claudette.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a brief report from the Committee of Faculty. First, we certified degrees for spring 2022 and fall 2022. The committee certified 1,300 students for spring 2022, and 782 degrees were certified in fall 2022. Second, the Academic Freedom Committee, a subcommittee of the Committee of Faculty, continued their efforts to compile resources for a LaGuardia Academic Freedom webpage and develop a formalized process for handling potential violations on academic freedom. On May 4th, partnering with Faculty Council, the subcommittee organized a live online presentation hosted by the University Faculty Senate's Academic Freedom Committee, and the presentation focused on educating members of the CUNY community on the definition, applicability, and importance of academic freedom and how to handle potential violations on academic freedom. On May 9th, co-chair Jill Kehoe attended a meeting of the University Faculty Senate's Academic Freedom Committee. On behalf of LaGuardia's subcommittee, co-chair Kehoe agreed to join the effort to create an Academic Freedom Committee CUNY handbook. The Committee of Faculty and the Online Learning Committee formed a group to address recommendation 5.8 from the Online Learning Committee's recommendations. Co-chair Gordon Conyers and I met with the members of the Online Learning Committee, Liz Clark, Sandra Z, Joshua Tan, Marta Kowalczyk, Bindu Pillai, and Stephen Kosares to create a handbook for LaGuardia faculty teaching in various online modalities. The committee met in December, January, April, and May, and we shared various resources in early meetings. Ultimately, the committee created a draft of a handbook with 7 chapters, including the introduction, online learning overview, a to-do list chapter, a chapter on classroom protocol, effective practices, teaching challenges or disruptions, and finally, a chapter on resources that our faculty teaching online courses can use. The committee will convene in fall 2023 to move forward with content specific to LaGuardia faculty and staff teaching online modalities. We do have recommendations, finally, to continue conversations regarding the new Advising 3.0 model and move forward with the discussions for interventions that are in place for students who are on probation. And that's it.
Great, thank you very much, Claudette. And thank you, committee of faculty. The committee on professional development, neither co-chairs are able to be here today. They have sent a written report to Jill and myself. I'm going to give you a very quick overview. They have many subcommittees. They have done in the opening sessions, for instance, a number of just a number of in-service training sessions on a wide range of topics. The Ruma Chowdhury Research Colloquium, which took place in the spring of last year. They have formed at the request of Provost Billy, oh, I can't remember anybody's last name, Billy. A committee, a subcommittee focused on the faculty and staff excellence awards, who have written a mission statement and a charge, a list of tasks that they're going to take on to make that happen. They have a subcommittee that is the EDIT, the Educational Development Initiative Team, that helps fund research and travel for scholarship. In a professional development on diversity and inclusion, have also had a workshop. So that is a really fast, not very knowledgeable summary of the work of the committee on professional development. Budget and Finance Committee is next. Patricia, do you have a report?
I can do a quick report, and I'll send the real report. The Budget and Finance Committee met every month. We even organized a town hall. Our goal was to share the budget to make sure that we could educate the college community about the budget. What we found out is that it has been, I think, useful, but at the same time, it led to miscommunication and misunderstanding. So I think it's something we have to think about. Consultation about the budget process according to CUNY guidelines is being done at LaGuardia. The matter of what consultation means is still up for definition. Is it really to be at the get-go of an issue, or it's once some decisions have been made? So we're still working on that. VP Herafan is fantastic. Anthony Garofalo, all the budget, they're wonderful to work with. In the room, Erica is here, Loretta is here, so people on the budget committee. But I think that we may have missed our goal of communicating accurately, and I'm not really sure what we can do. Christy and I wondered whether it was the role of the Senate to put out every little fire started by the union. So I think that's what one of my concerns is for now. So for the budget, but otherwise we did what we were supposed to do. We consulted and we gave our opinion, and I think we were heard.
Great, thank you, Patricia. Committee of Staff and Alumni.
Thank you. So the staff of Committee and Alumni, we met just about every month this year, and particularly we focused our attentions on issues related to campus policies that impacted staff and alumni, specifically those on the committee. So last fall, Nita Rivas, she served as the initial chair of the committee. She retired in December, and Cindy and I took over. Sabine served as secretary. Now, our initial goal and intention was to get the employee engagement survey produced, but there were several, obstacles that were a little beyond our control. So we weren't able to make it happen by the end of the fiscal year. And our goal is to hopefully sponsor the staff survey this year. So we were able to offer perspectives from staff with feedback to college leadership in two different ways. One way was through email. We had offered feedback for improving the Years of Services Award, which we felt was in some way weak, based on the communication that was disseminated throughout the college. And we also felt as if most employees needed advance notice. So this way there would be more participation. We also felt as if we wanted to make it more inclusive of our employees.
Also, we elected Loretta Capuano and with Anthony Pappas as backup to represent staff on the first meeting of the Governance Leaders Council. We communicated the low morale among staff and identified 4 reasons: understaffing causing heavy workloads, low salaries, especially among CAs, no promotions because internal candidates are passed up for external ones, and 4, slow aging computers. Later, in response to the new governance plan, we agreed that, creating a staff council made up of all staff members, not just senators, is a better way to represent staff perspective on the governance leaders council, instead of using our committee, which should focus more on Senate. To that end, many of our members are now in the process of creating a staff council over the next few months. All staff are welcome on the planning committee, not just senators. First meeting was yesterday and 27 staff members attended. We're very happy about it. So, and thanks to Sabine, for, recording all our meetings, and to all our members for.
Great, thank you very much. The committee of students, get Yana
I have heard.
Gura,
I can't.
had to leave, our one remaining student, so
Wait, can John graduate?
she.
She submitted her report via text.
John Jay now.
Yeah,
She's actually.
I saw-
she's at John Jay and she's working
here
here.
though, she's working
Yeah.
in the peer advisor's office, so she's in a meeting with a student now, so she sent me her report. So here's what she has to say.
Go for it.
It has been an honor to be part of the Senate. We have tackled important topics such as children on campus, classroom sizes, and aiding academic advisors with peer advisors. She does not want her last meeting to go in vain, and she would like the Senate to know the potential issue she is seeing now as a peer advisor. That students, are being dropped from their classes due to unpaid tuition, then are getting their classes added back on. However, they are being charged a late fee and a change of program fee, which she finds to be concerning for students who may not be able to pay the $40 to $50. And she recommends that the Senate and the next committee of students take on this issue.
Awesome, that's wonderful. She has also done more than anyone I've met to recruit students to run for Senate seats, so thank you, Jill. And we will thank Kenyana when you see her, thank her. Committee on Elections, Saret, do you have a report?
Just a bit, I'm multitasking right now. So, currently we started sending out the emails to the at-large today and the adjuncts and civil service. Last week on the 6th, the committee sent out to the departments and the previous Friday, the 6th, was the departments. We needed to ensure that those with open seats would make the announcements for their departments in the departments meeting during open session that took place. Where we will be following up on the VP offices that have open seats. One question for the information technology, we weren't sure because it merged at one point.
Yeah. So there's no more Senate seat for information technology because it's no longer a division.
Right, and then we have people in the seat. We have so it's no longer a division. So
Lucia knows, and yes, she knows that her division has gone away. So her seat lasts until this meeting, and then it's gone.
right. Okay, so I think we're keeping with the timeline. We have a couple of new members on the committee, and everyone is being helpful to some degree, and trying to do what we can. We just received the list from HR. This is why the email went out a bit late to the at-large and the adjuncts. It's a whole process that we have to sort through. So we'll get it right. We'll try to get it on time. The students, I think the students' application, today we received a link from marketing. Apparently, the link that we had was sending us.
No, it works, Saret.
It works now, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I think that's what I have. So, the plan is to run the election, to start, to send out links to, starting, to set up the elections, hopefully next week we can start. We're hoping to collect statements from individuals, send out the statement, send out the links for the at-large, the VP areas that requires us to run the elections. Anything else? Anything else, Patricia?
Yeah, Saret, thank you. For the report for last year, what we identified was that we didn't get enough students. So we didn't get enough students, we didn't get enough representatives for the Senate. So we didn't have enough at-large candidates. Academic affairs, out of 1,000 people who can vote, only 100 and something votes 2 years ago. So we really need to get the senators of the constituencies when your term is up to get on your VPs. So I'm going to name names quickly, but Cindy, Carlos, Loretta, we haven't heard back from your VPs, so we don't know if they want us to run the elections or if they're running it on their own. But the last date for candidacy is next week.
Yes.
So this is the kind of stuff that we're running into. Soretta and I trying to get the elections, and we want to avoid the same lack of candidacy we had last year, but it seems that we're heading the same way.
Jill.
I don't know the timeline of the student elections, but would attending the welcome barbecue with a table or a sign or something be helpful? I don't know if it coincides necessarily with the schedule that you set up, but.
So, Jill, yes, we have Denise is on it, Ellen Quish is on it, everybody who has student impact, ASAP is on it, Carolyn Mendes is on, who has the flyers to give the flyers. So I think faculty need to do their bit and advertise for their students, especially faculty in English and humanities.
And we also have our peers on it.
Yeah, so anybody, so the word is out. It's whether or not we will, we're catching a very wide net, but we really need faculty support.
Kenneth, yep.
Christy, could you speak to Nayeli? Please put this on the agenda for our next cabinet meeting on Monday, because it's occurring to me that I haven't explained to some of our new VPs the importance of participation in elections and serving in the Senate.
Okay.
Right, so if we make sure, here was Alexis, I told her to come today just so she get a feel for, I knew she's coming later, but I wanted to get to know the group. Every campus is different. Alexis was dean of students and met her for 12 years. Very different Senate. I don't even call it Senate, call it out.
Yeah.
So let's bring this up to the cabinet and have VPs all, like, I need to deliver that message about the importance of the elections and the participation in the Senate. So they know and they can encourage.
Great.
Right?
September 21st.
Thank you.
September
Thank you, President Adams, for the help on that, for the boost to the VPs.
I should have done it over the summer, but the election just move up.
September 21st.
Next week.
And then you have spring.
And
if we string along, sorry, Christy, if we have too long of a candidacy period, it gets lost. So a week is enough for people to send their candidacy. Academic affairs is on it. I mean, Leah is fantastic. She's on it. Sunil is on it. So we need the rest of the other VPs, the ones that are up for re-election. Not everybody's seat is up in divisional seats. So
marketing is important.
Yeah, so
Debbie, I'm just, you only sent the email on Friday. It's Wednesday. It's been 2.5 business days. Can you expect to have?
Was that the email to the division heads? Because there was
Yes.
But I mean, he did email us today and work, so he's planning to send you information tomorrow.
So it's coming.
Well, I understand all the crush. The thing is that Daisy, we only get the list of employees this week. So we don't, to send the elections for candidacy for at-large, for adjuncts, we need to have a current list of employees. And we only got it yesterday.
Yes.
And there's nothing we can do about that.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, Erica?
Hi, Patricia and Sarat. My question is, will candidates or anyone expecting to run or looking to run be notified of the decision if they are elected? Will they be notified by the committee or the division?
No. What happens is that we agreed to help set up the survey for the election, so the vote takes place online. The divisions are still responsible to communicate to their own people who the elected senators are. It's not the job of the committee. So when we get the list of candidates, we submit them, and then everyone gets a link, and the link sends you to vote. And we get the results of the vote. We send them to the VP, and the VP communicate to their divisions.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Then also, I think we can tell faculty, or we can send, I was looking for the student, I have a couple students interested in joining Senate, and now I see the link where they can apply. So that's something that faculty can also promote to their classes. So if that can be available to us, and we can send, and I can send an email to faculty, or we can do it through you and the elections committee, so that we have in hand that link in case we are able to talk it up with students in our classes.
And Loretta recommended Hobson's and all that. And just to say, Loretta just sent you an email. I can't do it. So we can send email through Hobson's. So
I'll open it, take it.
Great. Thank you so much. It's a lot of work all right now to try to make this happen. So thank you, Saret. Thank you, Patricia, and the elections committee. Transfer committee, Alexi was here to share and had to leave at 4. You have your report?
Yes.
So this is from the transfer committee.
So this is really quickly, they added another co-chair this year, Misan Doko, apologies. But they are actively still seeking membership from faculty. Thank you. They welcomed the university faculty Senate Chair John Verzani to the March meeting, and he delivered a presentation on the CUNY Board of Trustees resolution to facilitate transfer from 2-year to 4-year colleges, and it gave them an insight into institutional commitment and challenges to vertical transfer. They also had a representative from the Senior Institutional Research, the Office of Institutional Research and Assessment to present on the CUNY Transfer Dashboard during their May meeting. The presentation helped the committee understand how LaGuardia performs with respect to transfer in the context of the larger CUNY system. And then the last bullet is that they developed a plan to deliver an opening session presentation for faculty about how to support students in the transfer process with the collaboration of representatives from the ACMO team, the curriculum committee, OIRA, and the student transfer services. And they plan to create a resource for faculty about how to support students during the transfer process to offer at opening sessions presentation.
Great, thank you, Charis, on behalf of the transfer committee. The Food Insecurity, Justice, and Community Need Committee, Rebecca said there is no report today other than her question that we've already raised and addressed, and a really important one. So thank you for that, Rebecca. IT Advisory Committee, Jamie, do you have a report today?
Yeah, so brief report. Hi, everybody. The Senate Ad Hoc IT Advisory Committee met monthly with the exception of April. And just a few things that continue to serve as a hub for sharing and disseminating IT information and liaising with the IT department, as well as collecting feedback regarding IT needs from the programs and departments across the college. Members of the committee also served as what I'll call consultants for IT training and resources within their departments, particularly regarding some of the upgrades and changes that we saw to campus tech in the past year. And some even ran workshops within those departments. Some of the items that we addressed were the Microsoft 365 and Outlook update, including things like training, troubleshooting, and addressing needs and feedback with IT. From the campus community. We also helped with the rollout of multiple sign-on and new security measures, kind of determining how to best instruct faculty and staff and in those. We also addressed the retirement of web attendance, particularly with feedback from faculty about that system and what might replace it. We assisted in obtaining the approval of funds for remote printing. That was a big agenda item, and exploring a future pilot with remote printing on campus. We also worked closely alongside the Online Learning Committee on a number of projects. One of those included having some dual members of the IT committee and Online Learning Committee be present on the aforementioned faculty handbook. We also updated the college website for ease of access to IT information, specifically regarding things like student device loans and computer lab locations and access. And we began reviewing the LMS transition and anticipating the needs based on current faculty concerns. This included contacting Brightspace and receiving some sample materials and access to a Brightspace example platform. And so we're going to continue with that going into the next year, overseeing possible training and piloting of the D2L Brightspace in preparation for the transition. We also want to include student representatives on the committee going forward. And we're going to be launching a campus-wide IT needs survey for faculty, staff, and students to better facilitate these items.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you.
Loretta, do you have anything to?
I have nothing to add.
Oh,
that word flounder.
Okay, that's I like the length of that. Sounds good. Online Learning Committee, Sandra.
So we submitted our report last year with 43 recommendations.
Yeah.
We held a town hall for the Senate to answer any questions they have about our recommendations. And the report was accepted by the college Senate in October 2022. We formed liaisons for the recommendations to be the point person for any questions related to specific recommendations. The chairs and the provost agreed to that the online classes should be kept at 20 students, and I think the memo came out last spring. And they're currently, I think they're still working on recommendation 1.6, which is, the statement on community first about, what the requirements are for the course, maybe like, the cameras on. So we began researching student services. We called a student focus group in March 2023 to learn from students, what services they would like online and their experiences with online student services. And we also, in December 2022, we participated in a super Zoom, explaining to students different modalities, learning modalities. And earlier with the Committee of Faculty, IT Advisory Committee, and Faculty Council, several members of us began working on the faculty online learning handbook. And we began discussing the IR data that we want to put forward.
Great. Thank you very much, Sandra. The Personnel Budget and Budget Article Committee, we already know what they have done because we have approved their revision of the Article of Governance Plan. That was another committee. Then the Senate Assessment and Review Committee is our last remaining committee. Yes, Leslie.
So I stand between us and the end of the meeting. I will be brief.
No, there's still a chair's report, so it's me. Go ahead, Doug.
Well, greetings from sabbatical. The Assessment and Governance Review Committee was in an exploratory year last year as we were just formed by the Senate. And unfortunately, both sides, review of governance and assessment, are huge topics. So we'll be meeting quite often this year. There's not a lot of academic literature on governance assessment. So we're in rather uncharted waters. So what we're doing and what we started to do last year, what we'll continue to do, is to identify Senate goals and the metrics that we can measure them by. We will also continue our review of the governance plan, things that have sort of just didn't receive adequate discussion. We're a little but fierce committee, so we are still looking for additional support, particularly from students and potentially another staff member to even out the numbers. So look forward to hearing from us this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. So that is the end of our committee reports. I have a few things I want to tell you about before the end of this meeting. This is the last official meeting of this Senate year. Our next meeting, October 11th, is not a normal Senate meeting. It was designed as a transition, and it has fallen into the last couple of years. It's fallen into just another normal Senate meeting, and we are not going to conduct business as the plan. The executive committee will meet. We'll do a little more planning on what's going to happen, but I anticipate what the goal is. Outgoing senators and new incoming senators will all come together, make it a little social, also a way to introduce new senators to the work of the Senate. Have outgoing senators or serving senators give advice to new senators, make it that kind of orientation meeting and a gathering. So if you are an outgoing senator, you are welcome and I encourage to join us on October 11th. If you are an outgoing senator, thank you for your service. And all of those who will remain, also thank you for your service. I hope you can see the power that Senate has, right? But it only has it if we actually take it, right? So if Senate loses power, if there's no one here to make it happen, it's a little time consuming, but this is what makes it effective. So if you are an outgoing senator, if you're a continuing senator, continue to talk up the work of Senate among those who you encounter, encourage people to run for Senate. A couple of, so because this is how we make it effective at LaGuardia, by people willing to step up and take action and get involved. During the Senate hiatus over the summer, I've continued going to cabinet meetings. The college VRB has started up again. I'm included in those discussions, deciding what hiring needs the college is prioritizing, which gets sent to CUNY for their VRB approval. So I may say a little more about that at a future meeting, but I wanted to mention that that's still happening. I also wanted to say we are going to continue with this hybrid high flex modality for all year, which means we need in-person quorum, but it allows others, both visitor guests and senators, to join by Zoom when they're not in the area or not able to be here in person. So we're going to continue this. I'm going to do my best to get it set up before 2:15. Yeah, because it's a little tricky, but we're going to keep on doing it this way. The last thing I'll mention is, so you've heard now about the formation of a staff council. I've also had some discussions with some of the members of the ACE division, the Adult Ed division. A couple of directors there would love to have representation on the Governance Leaders Council for ACE. So we're in discussion about, and I'm not quite sure what form it's going to take, but about developing a governance body, be separate from Senate, like the staff council is separate from Senate. It's not part of Senate, but that would give more voice to the concerns of ACE, where a significant percentage of LaGuardia students are represented. So that's beginning. Because it's all gotten kind of confusing, Cindy has taken it on herself to create a graphic that shows the structure of governance at LaGuardia. So we're in the works on that. Pretty soon we'll have a draft ready to share, just to make clear how this works. And I've begun the process of trying to work to schedule the next Governance Council leaders meeting. So, I think that, wait, let me look here and see if there's anything else in my scribbled notes. So, I think that is all for now. Yes, Kenneth,
You're wrapping up, aren't you?
I am wrapping up.
I want to say something, but I'll wait till you wrap up because I'm going to interrupt you.
So what we have on the agenda, unfinished business, there's not any new business. And then announcements, and that's all. So, and so do you want to, but go ahead.
Yeah, because I have a 4:30 meeting.
Yes.
That I should go to. So I just wanted two, maybe three very quick things. First, on September 29th, I'm going to do my fall report, which is my sort of state of the college address. And I'm working on that now. If you have questions, issues, concerns, you'd like me, if I can, time permitting, to address, get them to the president, who will get them to me. She and I are in constant communication. All summer long.
Awesome.
And it's great, at least from my point of view. Her perspective, she'll share when I leave the room. But I'd like to be able to address, you can't make a 3-hour speech, and I'm gonna give a chance for the McLean and Ben, DB Road, and Sunil and others to speak, but in the time that I have, I can address, respond to questions that it has, let, Christie know what those are, and do my best to address them at that time. Also, number two is just to extend, as Christie has, as President has, my thanks to all of you who serve in the Senate, the senators who may be transitioning off, and all of you who remain. As I was trying to say earlier, I know I need to kind of raise this with the cabinet, because we do have some new VPs, and they don't, I was talking to legislators, they haven't seen this before, they don't see this at other campuses. Ben's prior training experience was at Peru, it's just different, right? So that's on me to make sure that people in the leadership of the administration understand the unique quality of our Senate, of our approach to shared governance, and of my commitment, my full commitment to support you and it. And so I want to drive that message, right? Even participation in elections and participating in all of that. So I will work on that, but the more important thing is to say thank you to all of you for your service. I couldn't agree more with what Christie said, which is without you, there's no Senate, without you, Senate, there's no shared governance, and we just have a mess, right? So, and then the final thing is I think that when you make that diagram, you're really we could make that a t-shirt. And then sell it at the kiosk next to the NBJ thing along with Anthony's sweatshirt, right? So, no, that'll be, that'll be a good thing to get that all mapped out.
Yeah.
So thank you in advance for doing that. I'm gonna run, but thanks for allowing me to join you all this afternoon.
Thank you.
And again, let me know how, and for the October 11th, I can put that on my calendar if you want me to show up.
Great.
But always happy to come and support your work, but also the extent that I can, answer your questions and tell you where we're going. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Loretta.
I just want to say thanks. 20 years.
Are you
I
going
know.
on?
Oh, no. I'll say it now because many people won't know. But it's really good experience.
You're still gonna come visit. I know, but it's not the same.
I'm still on some committees.
Okay, good.
So
My new goal in life at LaGuardia is getting the staff council off the ground. With the support of COSA and Christie and by the way, Ace, I'm shouting out, Ace was there yesterday and
great.
We are going to make that really doable governance structure addition.
Great. Great. Loretta, so. Well, and let me say that much of what I know about governance, I've learned from Loretta. So the value of having a few senators who've been around a long time and who've seen LaGuardia change and who care about this is what has enabled the new layer of leadership to come up. And so it's invaluable. So you deserve a break from Senate. but, it's very, very much appreciated. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're not going away like
Yes.
Nada.
Only if I win lotto.
I have to say, we almost didn't have cookies today because Anita always handled that. And I thought of it in the middle of the night, Monday, early wee hours of the morning. And it was almost too late, but they made it, so we got this without a purchase order. Because they said, okay, I'll do it. And I, I thought, oh, there's no cookies and it's my fault. And if Lucia's already left, I think she has. Yeah, it was so nice. Lucia's the outgoing SGA president. She was here, and it was really, and she's very supportive. So, we do not have any time for new business. I will continue to work to manage these meetings. Should you reelect me as, first I have to get reelected as senator for my department, and then. Yeah, I know, I already put my name down, so.
I don't think it's gonna be a pure
I don't
competition.
think it's. gonna be too-
Who will go up against you?
Whoever is the chair of Senate going forward will work to make sure there's time for new business. There's not, but thank you for your reports. Thank you for the hard committee work. I need I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. I don't need a motion, right? I don't, yeah, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Thanks, everybody.